Give all praise Yahbashim Yashabashim Kakadash. Honors to men and truth on down relating to truth and knowledge, so we can know this truth and knowledge, how to build these, learn this truth and knowledge. It's going to relate to news and various reports. We had the stock market, the Dow Jones nosedive 1,600 points. NASDAQ dropped since 2020 and also 2022. 1,600 points. This worldwide stock off after the Trump tariffs that began yesterday. So they're feeling the effects of it. This is right here. $3.1 trillion in value. Trump's massive tariff shakes markets, sparks recession fears. Investors brace for Trump's tariff bazooka, pretty much get ready to blast off. No matter of speaking, launch, fire. So that's how these tariffs are, launch and fire. Trump's tariffs wipe out $2 trillion from the U.S. stock market. $2 trillion with a T. 1,600 points as the markets recoil back from the Trump tariffs. And it sheds 1,700, so it's between 1,600 to 1,700. Worst day, S&P since June 2020. Trade war sets off, and also relating to trade war. There's a report talking about China, South Korea, Japan. They're going to team up relating to tariffs against the U.S. Breaking points, and also the Reuters report. We also have Japan, South Korea, China to strengthen trade ties together against the U.S. Reuters report. Iran-U.S. war inevitable, which can't be avoided. The stock market, like I was just reading, 16 to 1,700 drop down, nosedive, drop down points since 2020, 2022, June 2022 specifically, or 2020, both of them. Then you have, we have Trump imposes a 26% tariff on India, pretty much a discount tariff. I've seen a report since 80 years for the first time that the U.S. denies Mexico relating to water. I want to get in that article. We also had changes relating to the UPS, United States Postal Service. There's going to be changes relating to after April 1st. That was 2 days ago. So one of the things I believe relating to make it more efficient, cut down, downsize, but it also might affect relating to delivery times and different things as far as mail, because I've seen that in a report as well. I'll get that, a little bit of that. But let's go to let's go to that article. I'm going to read key points relating to that article. Just the article here. All right. The State Department says it denied the request because of Mexico hasn't applied to the 1944 treaty that means pretty much water sharing system. The agreement requires Mexico to send 175 million feet of water from the Rio Grande to U.S. every 5 years. The U.S. must send 15 million feet of water to Mexico from Colorado each year. So that's the water sharing agreement, the 1944 treaty. And at the end of the 2024, for example, it had delivered only a quarter of what it owed for the current 5 years, which ends in October. I'll show you what I just read. At the end of 2024, deliver a quarter of what it's supposed to in the current 5 years, which ends this October. Mexico has been struggling with, and really because of drought. That's the reason. For several years, in the first quarter of 2024, country's agricultural production has fell 61%, according to the Bank of Mexico. Activity of the north central region includes the border states of Chihuahua, Nuevo Leon. Forgive me a pronunciation. And that fell by those three borders by 3.3%. The country has sought emergency water deliveries to alleviate the strain on its water system. Let me see. I'm just reading key points. While the first denial request is not the first time that the treaty caused relating to tensions between U.S. and Mexico relation. In 2020, Mexican farmers revolted over sending water to revolt, which means go. Scripture talks about they should take the course of action, not regard the kings and princes. That's a form of protesting. The Mexican farmers revolted over the sending water to the U.S. During the extreme drought. I'm going to go a few pages up. Relating to that, you have, let me see what we have here. In 2024, late water payments from Mexico to the U.S. caused the Rio Grande Valley sugar growers and mill in Santa Rosa, Texas to shut down. So late payments. And really the water droughts, if the water is droughts, that kind of can affect relating to amount of water can be sent. You know, I mean, that's, you know, Father Nature in the matter of speaking. That's something that's out of their control, you know what I mean? And we've been having relating to what they would call AKA climate change that's been affecting wacky, strange, uncanny weather, or, you know, very strange things happen across the world, man. So, you know, you know, they always say Mother Nature, but it's not Mother, it's Father Nature. It's the Father, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yashai, man. You know what I mean? So they put that that feminist connotation on pretty much a goddess, and that's another lesson. But I want to read the rest. All right, let me see. In 2024, later water payments from Mexico to and caused the Rio Grande Valley sugar growers and mill in Santa Rosa, Texas, to shut down. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller told the Texas Monthly at the time that asking Mexico nicely for 20 or 25 years hadn't worked. We've got to get their attention somehow with some kinds of sanctions. Scripture talks about 6:4 of Revelations, Edom, the red horse, to take peace from the earth using the great sword. Now we can use the sanctions as part of that sword, man. You know what I mean? You don't comply, we'll do certain things. Restrictions. Take away of things. Deletions or minuses or subtract of things, man. You know what I mean? For example, this, man. It doesn't always mean always in a physical form. It comes in different tactics, different forms, man. Relating to, for example, sanctions. They're going to have to feel the pain. Bipartisan congressional delegations urged colleagues to withhold the funding to Mexico until water was delivered. Let me see. U.S. could be within its legal right to deny the waiver. If so, this will almost certainly harm agricultural production in Mexico, with a significant provider of production to U.S. Food prices hikes are already on the way. So you're affecting Mexico, but you're also affecting things that you get from Mexico, and the things you do get is going to be a lot higher. You know what I mean? Remember, with these tariffs, they affect both sides, directly, indirectly. specifically the consumers who need these respected projects, these respected products from these respected countries, whether Mexico needs U.S. stuff or whether U.S. needs Mexico stuff. So you're going to pay a lot more. It's going to be a lot more expensive on the goods that you get. That's already expensive, but it's going to be even more expensive. You know what I mean? So the tariffs and different things affect, like I said, it trickles down ultimately to the consumer, which is the buyer, the consumer, the people, man. I'm going to read it again. We could, within our legal rights, to deny the waiver, so this will almost certainly harm agricultural production in Mexico, which is a significant provider of produce to the U.S. Food market. Food price hikes is already on the way thanks to tariffs that could end up squeezing American consumers even more, like I was saying. That's the report here. All right. That's just one thing. What other reports? See what's on breaking news relating to people speaking about tariffs. World reaction cautious to reciprocal tariffs against dozens of nations. It's going to be a fallout. Like I said, Japan, South Korea, China, they're teaming up relating to reciprocal tariffs against U.S. man. So these nations are teaming up. Scripture talks about 50 talking about Babylon been that golden cup, made all the nations drunk of the wine. Now drunk of all the wine. Now the nations are mad. So the nations are mad. They turning. Now South Korea and Japan are allies. You know, China and U.S. they're not really friends like that. But even the allies are turning, man, because it affects them too. You know what I mean? They're coming against them. And really, the reason why Trump's doing these things because he's tired, as he's allegedly would say, U.S. getting the shaft end of the stick in the man by everybody else getting over it constantly. So he figures by doing this, it would be equal playing field relating to U.S. not getting shafted. You know what I mean? So his intentions may be trying to be, you know what I mean, try to be beneficial, but his motives and the intent behind it may not be the best way, man. You know what I mean? So in a matter of speaking, he wants U.S. stop getting screwed by these other nations. So that's why he wants equalness relating to on both sides, man. You know what I mean? And it's been one-sided for a long time, and that's why he's doing certain things. But his methods may not be the best way. That's what I'm saying. And that, so let's continue on. That was just something short. The world reacts to caution to U.S. reciprocal tariffs against dozens of nations. Made in U.S. is getting strong. Trump's tariffs encouraging for U.S. manufacturers. Floridians react to the President's Trump liberation. Liberation Day means liberates to set free from getting screwed, getting the shaft in the ASSS. You know what I mean? And that's how Trump is looking at it, man. River Markets restaurants planning cause changes for tariffs, man. But what is going to happen is, by doing this, you're going to screw your own self, man. You know what I mean? You're going to hurt yourself, and you're going to have retaliatory type methods upon these other nations to fire back with equal or greater relating to a delivery against you. You know what I mean? So it might backfire on him, man. Historical global trade war, WH fires, staffers, devastating storms, and different things. This is just breaking news. I'm just reading. Trump has announced new reciprocal tariffs. So you see in the stock market tank go down, whether by design or whether otherwise. But so maybe it's, allegedly certain things are happening because they have to happen that way. You know what I mean? But the point is, you're seeing a lot of the residual effects from this thing. Now, U.S. and Israel plan to unleash huge Iran blitz to destroy nuke strength. And that goes to the least shall draw thee out, man. The least of the flock shall draw thee out. Go to Jeremiah 50 and 24, man. Trump's tariffs, China vows to retaliate. How they retaliate and joining forces with Japan, South Korea, teaming up, man. Pretty much a tactical tariff team up, with these other nations, man. So, like I said, the retaliatory or the reciprocal, which means pretty much in return. That's what you're seeing with these nations, man. Trump's tariffs, China vows to retaliate against U.S. tariffs. So these countries are not going to lie down. They're not going to take financial or economical bullying, man. They're not going to take that. So they're going to return the favor, man. You know what I mean? So and that's going to affect both sides, man. You know what I mean? Maybe one worse than the other, man, or both. Now, April 2nd was forever be remembered as the day of American industry was born. American destiny was reclaimed the day that we began to make America wealthy again. So Trump really believes through this method, through this way, he's going to rebuild America great again, man. You know what I mean? That's why he's doing these things, man. Scripture talks about the heart of the king. The Lord controls the heart of the king, and he controls the heart of the king. He controls the heart of the king. Let me get that scripture. He controls the heart of the king and control it whatsoever and turns it like the river. I'm going to get it. That's Proverbs. He controls the heart, which is the mind of the king, and turn it whatsoever like the river. And all scripture also talks about a man's goings of the Lord. So how can he understand his own way? So really, he's being controlled. He's doing, and you go to Ezekiel, that refurbished sword, 21, talking about the refurbished sword. Refurbished goes to make new, make fresh. Refresco, or Econos means refresh, make new, revitalize. You know what I mean? So that's that weapon on that left hand side, man. So Trump, the Lord is using Trump as that tool to do his will on the left hand side, in a matter of speaking. Let me get this. Proverbs 21. Don't mean the Lord is down with Trump, but he'll use him for his purpose. Everything is according to the Lord's purpose. Scripture talks about in Job, the deceive and deceiver are his, man. You know what I mean? So he controls everything. You know what I mean? Here we go. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, which is his mind. The Lord controls the mind of that king. As the rivers of water turneth whithersoever he will. So he's going to go a direction how the Lord sees fit for him to go. I look at it like Lord has a master big chess piece in the spiritual realm, biggest ever, bigger than this whole earth. Pieces, the knights, the bishops, the rooks, all those represent people on the earth, man. The inhabitants of earth. And he moves them, diagonally, back and forth, forward, left, right, whatever direction he chooses, man. Every way of the man is right in his own eyes. So in his own eyes, he believes, for example, he believes he's doing the right thing. But the Lord pondered the hearts, that's the mind. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice, man. But the point is, the Lord controls the heart of the king, man. The mind of the king. He controls it. So wherever he thinks he's doing is actually he's just doing the will of the Lord, man. He's doing the will of the Lord. You know what I mean? So relating to Donald Trump, he's doing according to what the Lord has put in his mind to do, man. You know what I mean? Whether good, bad, or otherwise. So let me get on Proverbs 20 chapter. Proverbs 20th chapter. A man's goings, and that goes to his way, even his direction, his path. A man's goings are the Lord. How can he understand his own way? So how can he understand his own way? He believes he understands his own way. He believes he's doing certain things, but actuality, he don't know. Directly, indirectly, he's being controlled by forces unseen to his eyes or her eyes that's controlling him. So ultimately, they're being led a certain way anyway. Now we'll read that again. A man's goings of the Lord. How can a man understand? How can a man then understand his own ways? So the Lord controls everything, man. You know what I mean? In the end of the day, the Lord controls everything. This is just something short. Hope this helps relating to information. You know what I mean? So everything you seeing is done by the Lord. A false abomination. Let me get the Proverbs 11:1 real quick. 11:1. I'll get it from the NIV, which is the New International Version. Lord detests dishonest scales, false balance. You go to Proverbs 20 and 23, talk about relating to false balance is not good. And that goes to the dishonest scales. Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights, and that accurate is correct, but also ultimately also balance. The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. So it's going to be in the favor of the Lord, man. A balance finds a favor in the Lord, man. I want to get it from I'll get it from the KJV. Yeah, false balance is abomination to the Lord, which is dishonest scales, and the just weight, which is a correct weight, balanced weight, is his delight. So he's approved by that. He approves that. Now go to Proverbs 20:24. Proverbs 20 and 24. Proverbs 20 and 24. Or 23. Yeah, different weights are abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. So the different weights, man, variety of weights, the multi-variety relating to the weights, the dishonesty, the things that are not our balance would be abomination to the Lord. A false balance is not good. And that goes to the false balance, goes to the dishonest scales, things that are contrary to that, contrary to a balance, man. So the Lord is not going to approve that, man. You know what I mean? So this is just a few scriptures relating to information. A lot of things are going on relating to news aspect. You know what I mean? So this is just different things. War is inevitable. You know what I mean? And that Greek word I was saying earlier, fresquero, refreshed, refurbish, make new, revitalize, brush up. You know what I mean? To make new, make like new. You know what I mean? So this is just a few scriptures. Hope it helps relate to information. Zaya Wolf. All praise Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Kakadash. Zaya Wolf Shalom.